There's a Cajun in your kitchen. It's cooking time with Cajun Ed.
Hey, this is Cajun Ed, and welcome to Cooking with Cajun Ed, and we're gonna make gravy today using the drippings from a turducken, but you can also use this method to be able to make gravy from just about anything you're baking in the oven that generates drippings on its own. Okay, so we have the drippings from the turducken in the pan, and we're heating them up on the stove. And we're just gonna make sure that we get all the stuff that's stuck to the bottom that's off of the bottom. Okay, and then we're gonna use chicken stock today to help make the gravy. And we're gonna usually, when we cook a turducken, we add a quart of chicken stock. Depending on how many drippings you have and the size meat that you cooked, you'd adjust the amount of stock that you use. And we make fresh chicken stock. We don't add salt, it's super good. We make it almost every day in the store, and we also make pork stock. You can pick up chicken stock, you can order it online or pick it up in the store in a box like this, and it's about a quart of chicken stock in there. Okay, when we're making gravy with the turducken, we're gonna add 1 full quart of stock to it. We're gonna take the drippings that turducken made, we're gonna heat them up, and then we're gonna strain anything out of them that we don't wanna eat. So we're gonna pour it through this nifty little strainer here. Okay, and then I'm going to scrape this out of the pan. This particular method, and you can use a strainer. You don't have to have one of these. You can use a strainer to strain the drippings. If there's a lot of grease on top of it, most of that comes from the pork stuffing in the turducken, you can separate the grease so you don't put it back into your gravy. Once we've strained the drippings, we're going to put the drippings back in the pan. Then we're going to add the rest of that quart of chicken stock, and we're going to bring it up to temperature. We're going to heat it up till it starts to simmer. Okay, so we have a little bit of cornstarch, and we're going to mix the cornstarch with cold water. And you want to put just enough water so you're making a paste. You don't want runny cornstarch. You want it to be kind of thick. And so you're going to make sure that you've gotten all the clumps out of it. And stir it really well. Okay, so we have our cornstarch and water mixture, and it's mixed really well, and the drippings are at a soft boil or a hard simmer, and we're going to pour it in slowly, and you're going to stir it vigorously because you don't want the cornstarch to stick to the bottom of the pan, and you want it to dissolve into the gravy. And you can judge how much you want to put in by how thick it gets. So it's going to thicken up as you're putting the cornstarch in, and it takes it a minute to thicken up. So you can't take it back out. You have to put it in once, and that's it. And so you put enough to where you think you have a thick enough gravy. Okay, and it lightens up your gravy, the color of the cornstarch, and once the cornstarch is cooked, you don't want the cornstarch flavor in there, so you have to let it cook and stir it for 5 minutes or so that the cornstarch actually cooks and you can't taste it in your gravy. Once that's done, the gravy will go back to its original color. When you put the cornstarch in, it lightens up. Once it's cooked, it'll go back to its original color. Okay? And then once that's done, we're going to add a little browning sauce with it because we want our gravy to look dark and rich and pretty. And so we just add just a little bit, and you can see it just darkens it up. And so we've got the gravy heated. You can see the really rich color of it. Let's see what it tastes like. Man, good stuff. And now we're going to put this gravy in the gravy boat. The gravy is done. Okay, so now we've got our gravy. Yum. To go along with our turducken. Okay.